Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today, exploring how to ensure your digital marketing procurement strategy is really hitting the mark.
Absolutely. It's an area that's constantly evolving.
We're taking insights from evaluating the success of your digital marketing procurement strategy, an article from Procure for Marketing.
Great piece.
Yeah, it's packed with useful stuff. One thing that stood out to me is the emphasis on going beyond just cost savings.
Right. It's not enough to just pinch pennies.
Exactly. We need to look at the bigger picture and figure out if our budget is being used effectively and when our investments start to actually pay off.
Yeah, the article talks about something called the break-even point.
hmm
That's a really important concept to grasp.
It is, and I'll admit, I'm curious to hear more about that.
Basically, it's the point at which your investment, whether it's a new campaign or a partnership, starts generating enough revenue to cover what you spent.
So knowing that point helps us prioritize. Right.
Exactly. Knowing when we hit that break-even point can help us shift resources to activities that are making the biggest impact.
Makes sense. The article also dives into ROI enhancement, going beyond the basic ROI calculation.
Right. We need to get a little more sophisticated.
It mentions things like customer lifetime value and customer acquisition costs, CLTV, and TAC.
I have to admit, those sound a little intimidating.
They might seem that way at first, but they're not as complex as you might think.
Okay, good. Break it down for us.
So CLTV helps us see the long-term value of those marketing efforts. Like, let's say you're investing in a new email marketing platform.
Okay.
By understanding the CLTV of the customers you get through your email campaigns, you can justify spending a bit more on a platform with those advanced features, the kind that helps you automate things.
I see, because you're looking at the long game.
Exactly. The long-term return will outweigh that initial cost.
That makes sense. What about CAC? How does that fit in?
CAC is all about figuring out how much it costs to bring in a new customer. Let's say you're running ads.
Well, if you know your CAC, you can use that data to negotiate better rates. You can tell those ad platforms or agencies, hey, I need my cost per acquisition to be below a certain number for this campaign to work.
It gives you leverage.
Exactly. And it helps you make data-driven decisions.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We're basically using these metrics to squeeze every bit of value out of our procurement budget.
Precisely. We want to be strategic, not just frugal.
I like that. Now, the article also stresses that it's not all about numbers and algorithms.
Oh, absolutely.
It highlights the human side of things, especially when it comes to suppliers and even people within our own organizations.
Couldn't agree more. We can't forget about the human element.
When it comes to suppliers, the article talks about moving away from just transactional relationships.
It's about building something more strategic.
like a partnership.
Exactly. Instead of viewing them as just vendors, we want to collaborate with them.
Bring them in on planning and strategy discussions.
Precisely. Building trust and working together towards those shared goals.
Makes sense. What about those internal stakeholders? How do we keep everyone on the same page when our procurement strategies change?
It's all about clear communication and smart change management.
So keeping everyone informed, getting them the training they need.
Exactly. The article mentions training programs for new tools and platforms. Investing in that shows your team you're committed to their success.
It's an investment in their skills and their ability to adapt.
Absolutely.
So we've covered the numbers, we've talked about the people, but this article doesn't stop there. It also talks about tapping into real-time feedback from the market, using technology, of course.
Right. This is where things get really interesting.
I'm all ears.
Think about tools that let you listen in on social media conversations. They give you that instant pulse on how people are perceiving your brand.
So we can see what people are saying, not just about us, but about our competitors, too.
Absolutely. You get real-time insights into industry trends and how your campaigns are landing.
It's like having a window into people's thoughts.
It goes even deeper than that. It's not just about what they're saying, but how they feel.
You mean, like, their emotions.
Exactly. The article calls it brand sentiment analysis. By looking at the tone of those online conversations, we can get a sense of brand loyalty and how happy customers are.
Wow, so we can tell if people are genuinely excited about our brand or if they're frustrated.
Precisely. That kind of insight is incredibly powerful.
It really is. This is a lot to take in. We've covered so much ground already.
And we're just getting started.
Wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to explore how AI, machine learning, and other emerging technologies are shaping the future of digital marketing procurement. It's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, I'm strapped in and ready for that wild ride you promised. Let's talk about the future. AI, machine learning. The article makes it sound like they're going to revolutionize digital marketing procurement.
They really are game changers, but it's not about robots taking over.
Okay, good.
Think of it more like AI giving us superpowers. Imagine analyzing mountains of data, pinpointing the best suppliers, and even getting a glimpse into what's coming next in terms of trends, all thanks to AI.
You're saying AI can do all that heavy lifting for us. No more spending weeks buried in spreadsheets.
Exactly. And there are platforms out there right now that can do just that. Some tools use AI to, like, analyze contracts, spot potential risks, and even suggest ways to negotiate better deals.
Right.
Think of all the time and money that could save.
That's incredible. It almost sounds too good to be true. But what about machine learning? How does that fit into all of this?
Machine learning takes AI to the next level. It's like, imagine a system that learns from experience, adapts, without someone having to program it every step of the way.
So it's a procurement strategy that's constantly learning and getting smarter.
You got it. Let's say you've got a supplier who always delivers top-notch work, on time, no budget surprises. Machine learning can pick up on those patterns and say, hey, this is a supplier you want to keep working with.
It takes the guesswork out of choosing the right partners, right?
Exactly. And on the flip side, it can also flag those suppliers who have a history of, delays or going over budget. It gives you a heads up.
That's super helpful. And you mentioned machine learning can even predict trends. How does that work?
Think about content creation. Let's say you're working on a new campaign. Machine learning can look at your past campaigns, the data, see what resonated with your audience, and then predict what kind of content will work best next time around.
So data-driven decisions instead of just relying on our gut feeling.
Precisely. It's about using data to make smarter choices. We talked about
Uh-huh.
personalization earlier, right?
We did. It's a powerful tool for marketing, but it also seems incredibly complex. How do AI and machine learning help with that?
Remember those data analytics tools we discussed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, AI and machine learning are the brains behind them. They allow us to collect detailed information about what individual customers like and how they behave.
So instead of sending the same generic message to everyone, we can tailor our content to each person.
Exactly. It's like getting a custom-made message just for you. That's the power of AI and machine learning when it comes to personalization.
This is incredible, but it's also a lot to wrap my head around. How do we even begin to get a handle on all these new technologies?
Start small. You don't have to implement everything all at once. Just pick one or two areas where AI or machine learning could really make a difference.
So, try out a pilot project using a contract analysis tool powered by AI, or maybe test out a machine learning platform to help us choose suppliers.
Those are great examples. And once you try those pilot projects, you can use what you learn to inform your overall strategy and gradually bring in more advanced technologies over time.
So a strategic approach instead of just jumping in headfirst.
Right. And don't forget, it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the people who use it.
So training is crucial.
Absolutely. We need to make sure our teams have the skills and knowledge to use these tools effectively.
So it's about fostering a culture where people are excited about trying new things and learning as they go.
You got it. Encourage your team to embrace new tech, test out different approaches, and share what they learn. That's how you build a culture of innovation.
Speaking of innovation, the article also talks about something called proactive innovation. What's that all about?
It's about being ahead of the game, investing in those emerging technologies before they become the standard. Thinking outside the box and exploring how they might fit into your procurement strategy.
So we're not just waiting around for the next big thing. We're actively looking for those cutting-edge solutions. What are some examples of those technologies?
Think augmented reality, AR, or virtual reality, VR. Imagine using AR to see product prototypes from suppliers without having to physically visit them, or using VR to check out a supplier's facilities virtually.
Wow, that's next level stuff.
It is, and that's what makes this such an exciting time to be in this field. Things are changing so fast, there are always new ways to approach our work.
I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, but also really energized. It's clear that the future of procurement is about being adaptable, always learning, and embracing technology.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And by approaching things with that mindset, we can turn these complexities into real opportunities.
This has been an eye-opening journey, from basic evaluation to the mind-blowing potential of AI and machine learning. We've covered a lot.
We have. And before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, let's pause for a moment and think about how all of this applies to you.
Yes, let's bring it back to your specific needs and goals.
After considering everything we've discussed, What's one change you can make today to give yourself a competitive edge? So have you thought about it? What one change could you make today to gain that competitive edge?
I hope our listeners are jotting down some ideas. It's amazing how a little shift in thinking can lead to big changes.
Yeah, sometimes we just need a nudge in the right direction.
Well, we've certainly explored a lot of different avenues in this deep dive.
We have.
From the fundamentals of evaluating our procurement strategy to the honestly mind-blowing potential of AI and machine learning, it's been a whirlwind.
It has. And we've touched on how vital those human connections are.
Absolutely. Those relationships with suppliers are so important.
Moving beyond those simple transactions and truly partnering up can make a huge difference.
It's about working together towards a common goal.
Exactly. And internally, we need to empower our teams, make sure they have the tools and knowledge to navigate these new strategies and technologies.
Training, open communication, recognizing those who are pushing for innovation, it's all key.
You hit the nail on the head. And we can't forget about staying ahead of the curve, right?
Absolutely not. This world of digital marketing is in constant motion.
And so is the technology. AI, machine learning, AR, VR, they're all changing the game.
It can seem like a lot, but you don't have to do it all at once.
That's right. Start small, experiment, see what works best for you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage our listeners, be curious, keep learning.
The world of digital marketing is evolving every day.
And so should our approach to procurement.
Staying informed, being ready to adapt, being open to new possibilities.
That's how we can all succeed in this ever-changing landscape.
It's been a great journey exploring all of this with you, and I hope our listeners have found it valuable.
I'm sure they have. Until next time, everyone, keep diving deep.